You see, in life, there's a time to hold on and there's a time to let go. But what most of us struggle with is recognizing the moment when silence is louder than words and walking away is the only answer left. Let me tell you something, words have power. The power to heal, the power to inspire, but also the power to destroy. And if you're not careful, the wrong words will plant seeds of doubt, confusion, and pain in your spirit. There are six phrases that, when you hear them, you don't argue, you don't plead, and you don't explain. You simply leave. Silently. When someone says you're too sensitive, what they're really doing is dismissing your feelings. It's a tactic used to invalidate your emotions, to make you second guess yourself, and to shift the blame away from their actions. But sensitivity is not a weakness, it's a strength. It's the ability to feel deeply, to empathize, to care, and to connect. It's what makes you human. When someone tells you that you're too sensitive, they're not just making a casual remark. They're telling you that your feelings make them uncomfortable, and instead of addressing their behavior, they want to make it your problem. Now let's break this down. Sensitivity is often painted as a flaw because it forces people to confront the impact of their words and actions. When you express hurt or discomfort, you're holding up a mirror to them. And not everyone is ready to look into that mirror. Some people would rather deflect, rather minimize your experience, because it's easier for them to say you're too sensitive than to admit, I was wrong or I hurt you. So when they say you're too sensitive, it's not about you, it's about them. It's about their unwillingness to take responsibility for their actions. Think about the courage it takes to speak up when you're hurt. It's not easy to be vulnerable. It's not easy to say, that upset me or that wasn't okay. It takes strength to voice your emotions, especially in a world that often encourages people to hide them. So when someone responds to your vulnerability by calling you too sensitive, they're dismissing something incredibly brave. They're trying to make you feel small for doing something that requires immense strength. And let's not ignore the deeper message behind those words. You're too sensitive often translates to your feelings are inconvenient for me. It's an attempt to shut you down, to silence you, to make you question yourself. It's a way of saying your pain doesn't matter as much as my comfort, and that's a red flag. Because in healthy relationships, your feelings should matter. They should be met with understanding, not dismissal. Being sensitive means you notice things others might overlook. You pick up on subtleties, on tones, on unsaid words. You feel things deeply because you care. And caring is not a flaw, it's a gift. The world needs more people who care, who are in tune with their emotions, and who aren't afraid to express them. When someone tells you that you're too sensitive, they're trying to make you see your sensitivity as a burden. But the truth is, it's a blessing. It's what allows you to connect with others on a deeper level, to understand their struggles, to offer compassion and kindness. But here's the thing, not everyone will appreciate that gift. Not everyone will value your sensitivity. Some will see it as an inconvenience. They'll label it as a problem because it challenges them to be more mindful of their words and actions. It forces them to be more self-aware, and not everyone is ready for that. So instead of rising to the occasion, they'll try to bring you down. They'll make you feel like you're the problem when, in reality, it's their unwillingness to grow that's at fault. When you hear those words, it's natural to start questioning yourself. Am I too sensitive? Am I overreacting? But let me remind you of this, your feelings are valid. Your emotions are not up for debate. If something hurts you, it hurts you. And that's enough. You don't need to justify your feelings to anyone. You don't need to explain why something upset you or why it mattered. You have the right to feel the way you feel, no matter how inconvenient it might be for someone else. Sensitivity doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're alive. It means you're in touch with the world around you, with the people you care about, and with yourself. Don't let anyone make you feel ashamed of that. Don't let anyone convince you that you need to toughen up or shut down your emotions to make them more comfortable. Your sensitivity is a part of who you are, and it's not something you need to apologize for. The next time someone tells you that you're too sensitive, take a moment to reflect. Are they really concerned about your well-being? Or are they trying to deflect from their own actions? Are they encouraging you to grow? Or are they trying to make you shrink? Because someone who truly values you will never dismiss your feelings. They'll listen. They'll try to understand. They'll make an effort to meet you where you are. And those are the people you deserve in your life. Not the ones who call you too sensitive to avoid accountability, but the ones who respect your emotions and value your voice. When someone tells you you'll never be good enough, those words are not a reflection of your worth, they are a reflection of their insecurity. Words like these are meant to cut deep, to plant seeds of doubt, and to keep you from realizing just how extraordinary you truly are. They come from a place of fear, envy, or a desire to control. People who say such things often recognize your potential, but instead of encouraging you to grow, they try to diminish your light so that theirs appears brighter. It's not about your inability to succeed, it's about their inability to handle your success. Hearing those words can feel like a blow to the heart, especially when they come from someone you care about or respect. It's natural to question yourself, to wonder if there's truth in what they're saying. But let me tell you something, no one has the power to define your worth except you. Those words only carry weight if you let them. If you accept them as truth, they'll linger in your mind and sabotage your dreams. But if you reject them, if you stand firm in your belief in yourself, they lose all their power. When someone tells you you'll never be good enough, what they're really saying is, I'm afraid of what you're capable of. They see your potential, and it terrifies them. They see your ambition, your determination, and your drive, and it threatens their own sense of security. Instead of supporting you, they choose to tear you down, hoping you'll stop trying. But here's the thing, their words don't define you. Your actions do. Your effort does. Your persistence does. The truth is, no one starts out good enough. Excellence is a process. It's built through hard work, discipline, and a willingness to learn. The people who tell you you're not good enough are often the ones who've given up on their own dreams. They project their failures onto you because it's easier than facing their own shortcomings. They don't want to see you succeed because it reminds them of what they could have been if they hadn't quit. Don't let their fears become your reality. You'll encounter people who belittle your abilities, not because you lack them, but because they're intimidated by your potential. They'll try to put limits on you because they've placed limits on themselves. But let me tell you this, their limits are not your limits. Their doubts are not your doubts. Their insecurities have no place in your journey. You have to learn to separate their opinions from your truth. The path to greatness is not paved with constant praise and approval. It's paved with obstacles, criticism, and yes, sometimes even doubt, both from others and from within yourself. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is the ability to push forward despite it all. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need to believe in yourself. When someone tells you that you'll never be good enough, take it as a challenge. Let it fuel your fire. Let it remind you of why you're working so hard in the first place. Every time you hear those words, remember that they are not the final verdict on your life, they're just noise. And noise can't stop you unless you let it drown out your inner voice, the one that knows you're capable of far more than anyone can imagine. Your value isn't determined by other people's opinions. It's determined by your actions, your perseverance, and your ability to keep moving forward, even when the odds are stacked against you. The people who say you'll never be good enough often lack the vision to see what you're building. They can't see the long nights, the sacrifices, or the small victories that are paving the way to your success. They only see the version of you that stands before them now, not the version you're becoming. When they tell you you'll never be good enough, they're wrong. Because being good enough isn't about meeting someone else's expectations, it's about fulfilling your own. It's about setting your own goals, working toward them, and refusing to let anyone's negativity derail you. You weren't put on this earth to live up to someone else's standard. You were put here to become the best version of yourself, whatever that looks like to you. So the next time someone tries to tear you down with those words, remember who you are. Remember what you've already overcome. And remember that their opinion has no bearing on your destiny. Keep striving, keep growing, and keep proving not to them, but to yourself that you are more than enough. Because you are. You always have been. And you always will be. Everyone else thinks this about you. These words are a manipulation, a tool used to undermine your confidence and box you into a perception that might not even exist. They're often not about what others genuinely believe, but about someone trying to influence how you see yourself. When people make statements like this, they aren't providing constructive feedback or offering a consensus of thought. They are projecting their own biases, assumptions, or insecurities onto you and masking them as the opinions of others. Hearing these words can be paralyzing. They make you feel as though an invisible jury has been convened to pass judgment on who you are, how you act, or what you're capable of. It puts you in a defensive position, scrambling to defend yourself against accusations you didn't even know existed. But the truth is, the person saying this often has little to no evidence to back it up. They are weaponizing ambiguity, hoping you'll take the bait and start doubting yourself. Don't let them. When someone claims that everyone else thinks a certain way about you, pause and ask yourself, who is everyone else? More often than not, this everyone is a convenient fabrication. It's not a group of people, they're not quoting an actual crowd. It's just one voice disguised as many, trying to amplify its impact. They want to make you feel outnumbered, isolated, and small. They want you to believe that you're standing on shaky ground, when in reality, you're standing on solid truth. The opinions of faceless, nameless others should never dictate how you feel about yourself. What makes this phrase so damaging is its power to feed on your insecurities. If there's a part of you that already feels self-conscious or uncertain, hearing everyone else thinks this about you can confirm your worst fears. It can make you feel as though your doubts are no longer internal but validated by the world around you. This is exactly what the person saying it wants. They want to exploit the cracks in your confidence. But those cracks are not permanent. They're not weaknesses, they're areas where you're still growing, still learning, still becoming the person you're meant to be. Don't let someone else's words set the limits on that growth. People who use this phrase often have their own motives. Maybe they're trying to control you, to steer your behavior or choices in a way that benefits them. Maybe they're jealous of your progress and want to bring you down a notch. Or maybe they're projecting their own fears, hoping to shift the focus away from their shortcomings and onto yours. Whatever their reason, their words are not a reflection of your truth, they're a reflection of their agenda. It's important to remember that no one has the authority to speak on behalf of everyone. Real relationships, whether they're personal or professional, are built on honest, direct communication. If someone truly cares about you, they won't hide behind vague statements or anonymous opinions. They'll tell you what they think openly and respectfully, without trying to make you feel attacked or overwhelmed. When someone uses the phrase "everyone else thinks," they are avoiding accountability. They're not standing in their truth, they're hiding behind a smokescreen. You can't control what others think about you, but you can control how much power you give to those thoughts or the perception of them. Most of the time, people aren't thinking about you nearly as much as you fear they are. They're busy living their own lives, dealing with their own challenges, and fighting their own battles. The idea that everyone else is constantly focused on you is not only untrue, it's unrealistic. People's opinions are fleeting and often based on incomplete information. Don't let those passing judgments define who you are. Instead of internalizing what someone claims everyone else thinks, focus on what you know to be true. What do you think about yourself? What do the people you trust and love say about you? What have you accomplished despite the odds? Your life is full of evidence that counters any negative narrative someone tries to impose on you. Your worth isn't up for debate, especially not by people who rely on vague generalizations to make their point. When you hear these words, treat them like background noise, something to be acknowledged but not absorbed. Evaluate the source of the comment. Does this person have your best interests at heart? Do they know you well enough to make such a sweeping statement? Chances are, the answer is no. So why let their words dictate how you feel about yourself? You are not defined by the opinions of others, and certainly not by the opinions someone else claims they have. The truth is, what matters most isn't what everyone else thinks about you. It's what you think about yourself. Your journey, your growth, and your purpose are far too important to be derailed by the noise of unfounded criticism. Keep moving forward, not because others approve of you, but because you believe in who you are and who you're becoming. Let their words fade into the background as you continue to rise above. You should be grateful I'm still here. Those words carry a weight that can leave you questioning yourself, your worth, and the dynamics of the relationship you're in. It's a statement loaded with manipulation, often designed to make you feel indebted to someone who may not even be treating you fairly. Instead of fostering mutual respect or understanding, it places the other person on a pedestal and demands that you bow to their continued presence in your life, regardless of whether their actions align with true care or love. When someone says this, they are implying that their presence is a gift, something extraordinary that you don't deserve. They make it seem like they are doing you a favor by staying, as though their willingness to remain in your life outweighs any shortcomings in how they treat you. It shifts the balance of power in the relationship, putting them in control and forcing you into a position of gratitude, even when there's no reason for it. That kind of dynamic isn't love or loyalty, it's control. Gratitude in any relationship should be mutual. It should flow naturally from acts of kindness, respect, and genuine care. If someone truly values you, they don't need to remind you to be grateful for their presence. Their actions will make you feel it without words. When someone uses a phrase like "you should be grateful I'm still here," it's often because their actions don't align with what a healthy relationship should look like. It becomes a way to mask poor behavior or justify their unwillingness to change or grow. This statement also implies that they have the upper hand. It suggests that their leaving is an option always on the table, something they're holding over your head. Instead of building a relationship based on stability and trust, they are introducing fear and insecurity into the mix. You start to wonder if you're doing enough to keep them happy, if you're falling short in ways that justify their dissatisfaction. This isn't a healthy space to exist in because it forces you to walk on eggshells, constantly trying to prove your worth while they sit back and judge whether you've earned their presence. The truth is, if someone feels the need to say this to you, it's a reflection of their own insecurities and lack of commitment. A person who is truly invested in a relationship doesn't need to remind you of the favor they're doing by staying. They stay because they want to, because they value you, and because they see the relationship as a partnership. The moment someone starts framing their presence as something you owe them for, the balance shifts and it becomes less about love or mutual respect and more about leverage. This phrase can erode your self-esteem over time. It places the blame for any issues in the relationship solely on your shoulders. By implying that you're the one who should be grateful, they subtly suggest that you're the problem, that you're lucky they tolerate your flaws, and that without them, you'd be left with nothing. This kind of emotional manipulation can lead to self-doubt, making you question your own value and whether you truly deserve better. But the reality is, you do deserve better. Relationships thrive on mutual respect, understanding, and accountability. Both people involved should feel valued and appreciated, not as though they're being done a favor by the other person. Gratitude is important, but it should be freely given, not demanded or coerced. When someone expects you to express gratitude simply for their presence, it reveals a lack of true partnership. They're not interested in building a connection where both of you feel seen and heard. They're interested in reinforcing their own importance while diminishing yours. This kind of statement also prevents honest communication. It's a way of shutting down any attempt to address issues or express concerns. If you try to bring up something that bothers you, their response might be to remind you of how grateful you should be, deflecting attention away from the real problem and making you feel guilty for even raising it. This tactic keeps you from advocating for yourself, silencing your voice and your needs in favor of maintaining the status quo. You are not obligated to be grateful for someone who stays in your life while making you feel small, unworthy, or indebted. True relationships are not built on ultimatums or reminders of how lucky you are to have someone. They're built on a foundation of equality, trust, and mutual investment. If someone genuinely loves and respects you, their actions will show it, and gratitude will naturally flow from both sides. If they feel the need to remind you of how grateful you should be, it's time to reevaluate the value they're truly bringing into your life. Respect yourself enough to know that you don't need to beg for someone's presence or accept manipulative tactics disguised as care. You are enough, and the right people will see that, without needing to remind you of how lucky you are to have them. You've changed those two words, when spoken in a certain tone, can carry an undertone of criticism, disappointment, or even betrayal. At first glance, they may seem like an observation, a neutral statement about how someone has evolved. But often they come with an edge, implying that the change isn't welcome, or that it deviates from the person the speaker once knew or benefited from. It's a phrase that can make you pause, question yourself, and even doubt whether the growth you've experienced is a good thing. Change is a natural and inevitable part of life. As people, we are meant to grow, learn, and adapt to the circumstances around us. No one stays the same forever, nor should they. The experiences we go through, the lessons we learn, and the challenges we face all contribute to shaping who we are over time. When someone says, "You've changed," it often reflects their discomfort with your evolution because it no longer aligns with what they are used to or what they expect from you. In many cases, it's less about you and more about them. The truth is, growth can be uncomfortable, not just for the person experiencing it, but for those around them. When you change, You disrupt the dynamics that others have come to rely on. Maybe you used to be the person who always said yes, even to things that drained you, but now you've learned to set boundaries. Maybe you used to accept mistreatment, but now you stand up for yourself. Or perhaps you've decided to pursue your goals and dreams with a renewed focus, leaving less time for distractions or people who don't support your vision. These changes, while positive for you, can feel like a threat to others who benefited from your old ways. When someone says you've changed, it's often rooted in their own fears or insecurities. They may be afraid of losing the version of you they were comfortable with, the one who fit neatly into their expectations. They may feel left behind, as if your growth is highlighting their stagnation, or they may struggle to accept that you're no longer willing to prioritize their needs over your own. In these cases, their comment isn't a reflection of you, it's a projection of their own inner conflict. Change can also make people nostalgic for the past. They may remember a version of you that they associate with certain memories or shared experiences, and seeing you evolve feels like losing a piece of those moments. But the reality is, clinging to the past isn't healthy for anyone. Growth requires letting go of old habits, mindsets, and sometimes even relationships that no longer serve you. It's not about forgetting where you came from or who you were, but about embracing who you are becoming. Hearing you've changed can also be a test of your confidence in your journey. It can make you second guess whether your growth is valid, whether you somehow lost yourself along the way. But the truth is, staying the same to please others is a disservice to yourself. Change isn't a betrayal of who you are. It's a deeper expression of your true self. It's about shedding layers that no longer fit and stepping into the person you're meant to be. It's important to remember that not everyone will understand or support your transformation. And that's okay. Some people are only meant to be part of your journey for a season, and as you grow, your circle may grow smaller. But the people who truly care about you will celebrate your progress, even if it challenges their own comfort zone. They will recognize that your change doesn't mean you've abandoned them, it means you're evolving into the best version of yourself. You've changed can also be an opportunity for reflection. Not every change is positive, and it's worth taking a moment to evaluate whether your growth aligns with your values and goals. Are you becoming the person you aspire to be? Are you making choices that reflect your true self? If the answer is yes, then no amount of criticism or discomfort from others should deter you. But if you find that certain changes have moved you away from your core values, it's never too late to recalibrate and realign. Change is a sign of life. It's a testament to your resilience, adaptability, and willingness to evolve. It means you're learning from your experiences and striving to become better. So when someone says you've changed, let it be a reminder of your growth, not a reason to doubt it. You don't owe anyone an explanation for becoming who you are meant to be. Embrace your journey, honor your progress, and continue to move forward unapologetically. Change is not something to fear, it's something to celebrate. Nobody else will want you. These words, though seemingly casual or offhand, can be incredibly damaging. They are a direct attack on your worth, a subtle form of manipulation that aims to make you doubt yourself, your value, and your potential. It's a phrase often used by people who want to keep you in a situation where you feel trapped, unworthy of better, or unable to find something or someone that truly aligns with who you are. This statement is a lie designed to make you feel powerless and dependent on the person saying it, as though you're not enough on your own and no one else could ever see the greatness in you. The first thing to remember when someone says this to you is that their words reflect their own insecurities, not yours. A person who truly values you will never try to convince you that you're unworthy of love, respect, or attention from others. They will lift you up, not tear you down. Those who use phrases like nobody else will want you do so because they want to keep control over you, to make you believe that the current situation, no matter how unhealthy or unsatisfying it may be, is your only option. They want you to feel like you're lucky to have them and that no one else would ever see you the way they do. But this couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is that everyone has intrinsic value. You are not defined by one person's opinion of you or by a single relationship. Your worth doesn't decrease because someone fails to appreciate or recognize it. If anything, the person who says nobody else will want you is the one who is blind to your worth. They are projecting their own fears and insecurities onto you, trying to make you believe that your future is limited or that you'll never find someone who will love you for who you are. This is a tactic used to keep you in a relationship that benefits them, not you. It's important to understand that nobody else will want you as a form of emotional manipulation. It's a way to make you feel as though you are dependent on the relationship, even if it's unhealthy or unfulfilling. The goal is to make you believe that you don't deserve better, that this is as good as it gets, and that you should be grateful for whatever affection, attention, or validation you receive, no matter how inconsistent or conditional. But this is not love. True love supports, nurtures, and encourages growth. It never seeks to control, limit, or diminish the other person. In reality, there are countless people out there who would see your worth, who would appreciate you for who you are, and who would love you unconditionally. The idea that nobody else will want you is simply not true. Each person is unique with their own qualities, strengths, and talents. You have a combination of traits that make you special, and there is no one else exactly like you. You have experiences, passions, dreams, and quirks that make you irreplaceable. The right person will appreciate these aspects of you, not try to diminish them or convince you that you should settle for less. When someone says nobody else will want you, they are trying to trap you in a cycle of self-doubt. The more you internalize this message, the more it can chip away at your confidence and make you question your value. But it's important to recognize that self-worth comes from within. It is not contingent on someone else's approval or validation. If a relationship is making you feel like you're not enough, like you have to change who you are to be worthy, it's not a healthy relationship. You are worthy of love, respect, and happiness exactly as you are. The right relationship is one where both people see each other's worth, where both parties bring value and growth to the table. It's not about feeling as though you're settling for someone who tolerates you. It's about finding someone who cherishes you, who values your uniqueness, and who is willing to love you for who you truly are. And if the person you're with now is telling you that nobody else will want you, they are not the person who will give you that love. In fact, they're showing you exactly why you deserve to walk away from a relationship that doesn't allow you to fully be yourself. Remember, you are enough. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. No matter what someone else says, your value is not determined by the opinions or actions of others. When you start to believe in your own worth, you open the door to opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with your true self. There is someone out there who will love you for who you are, who will see your worth and appreciate it every single day. And when you finally let go of the toxic belief that nobody else will want you, you make space for the love and respect you truly deserve.